What if I told you that one man's train ride changed the course of human history forever? In 1917, a balding, intense revolutionary stepped off a sealed German train in Petrograd. Within months, he'd topple an empire that had ruled for 300 years. This is Vladimir Lenin, and his story will shock you. But Lenin wasn't born a revolutionary. Born Vladimir Ulyanov in 1870, he was the son of a school inspector in a middle-class family. Everything changed when his older brother Alexander was executed for plotting to kill the Tsar. Imagine watching your hero brother die for his beliefs. This moment forged Lenin into history's most dangerous man. By age 17, Lenin was already expelled from university for radical activities. He devoured Marx's writings like a man possessed. But here's what's terrifying. Lenin didn't just want to understand revolution, he wanted to perfect it. He studied every failed uprising, every tactical mistake. He was building the blueprint for the perfect revolution. For 17 years, Lenin lived in exile, plotting Russia's downfall from coffee shops in London, Geneva, and Munich. While other revolutionaries argued theory, Lenin planned practice. He created a network of professional revolutionaries, men who lived, breathed, and would die for the cause. They called themselves Bolsheviks, meaning majority. Then came 1914. World War I turned Russia into a graveyard. Millions died, the economy collapsed, and Tsar Nicholas II became the most hated man in his own empire. Lenin watched from Switzerland, knowing his moment was coming. The worse, the better, he wrote coldly. Russian suffering was his opportunity. But Lenin had a problem. He was stuck in neutral Switzerland while revolution erupted in Russia. The solution? The Germans offered him safe passage in a sealed train car. Why? Because they knew Lenin would pull Russia out of the war. It was perhaps history's most consequential train journey. Enemy nations helping their greatest threat. April 16, 1917. Lenin arrives at Finland Station in Petrograd to crowds of supporters. His first speech was electric. The people need peace. The people need bread. The people need land. But behind closed doors, he told his followers something chilling. We must be prepared to start the civil war immediately. The provisional government thought they could control Lenin. They were dead wrong. While politicians debated in parliament, Lenin's Bolsheviks infiltrated the army, the workers' councils, and the streets. His slogan was simple but deadly effective. Peace, land, bread. 3 words that would topple an empire. October 25, 1917. The moment that changed everything, Lenin's revolutionaries stormed the Winter Palace in what they called the October Revolution. In less than 24 hours, they seized control of Russia's government. But this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of Lenin's terrifying vision. What happened next reveals Lenin's true nature. He immediately pulled Russia out of World War I, giving up massive territories to Germany. Critics called him a traitor. Lenin's response: better to lose space than lose time. He needed to focus on the real war, the one against his own people who opposed him. The Russian Civil War began almost immediately. Lenin's Red Army fought the White Army, monarchists, Democrats, and foreign interventionists. The fighting was brutal beyond imagination. Lenin authorized the use of poison gas, mass executions, and concentration camps. His motto: it is better to kill 100 innocents than let one guilty person escape. But Lenin's most shocking decision came in July 1918. Fearing the Tsar's family might be rescued and become a rallying point for his enemies, Lenin ordered their execution. Nicholas, his wife Alexandra, their 4 daughters, and young son Alexei were brutally murdered in a basement. Even children weren't spared from Lenin's revolution. By 1921, Lenin had won. But victory came at an unimaginable cost. Millions were dead from war, famine, and political purges. The economy was destroyed. Lenin had created the world's first communist state, but it looked nothing like Marx's utopian dream. It was a police state built on fear, surveillance, and absolute power. Then, in 1922, Lenin suffered a series of strokes that left him partially paralyzed and struggling to speak. The man who had commanded through sheer force of will was reduced to a shadow of himself. But even dying, Lenin remained dangerous. His final writings, called his Testament, warned against his successor, Joseph Stalin. Lenin died on January 21, 1924. At age 53, his body was embalmed and placed in a mausoleum in Red Square, where it remains today. But his legacy lived on through Stalin, Mao, Castro, and countless other communist dictators. Lenin's ideas would shape the 20th century, leading to the deaths of over 100 million people. Here's what's truly chilling about Lenin's story. He succeeded exactly as he planned. He didn't want gradual reform or peaceful change. He wanted violent revolution that would remake society completely. Every massacre, every purge, every act of terror was calculated. Lenin turned Russia red, not just with communist flags, but with blood. So why does Lenin's story matter today? Because it shows how quickly civilization can collapse when extremists seize power. In just 7 years, Lenin transformed Russia from a backward empire into a totalitarian superstate that would threaten the world for decades. One man, one movement, changed everything. If this story of power, revolution, and the man who changed history forever fascinated you, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. We dive deep into the untold stories that shaped our world. What other historical figures would you like us to explore? Let me know in the comments below. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video.